Hello and welcome. Today we are diving into a more analytical perspective on Elcin Sangu's career, focusing not on her most famous roles alone but on the underlying decisions that shaped her trajectory in an industry known for rapid turnover and relentless competition. Because what stands out immediately when examining her path is not just the success of her performances but the timing of her appearances, which often seem to coincide with shifts in audience demand rather than simply following existing trends. And this becomes particularly evident when looking at her transition from traditional television into projects aligned with the rise of digital streaming, where Turkish productions began reaching wider global audiences through platforms that introduced new expectations regarding pacing, character depth, and narrative complexity. And rather than rushing into every available opportunity during this transition period, Sangu appears to have taken a more measured approach, selecting roles that allowed her to explore different dimensions of performance while maintaining a degree of exclusivity that kept public interest consistently high, and this has led to ongoing discussions among viewers who compare her output to that of other actresses who have remained continuously active but arguably less impactful in individual roles, and within online communities, particularly those analyzing Turkish series from an international perspective, her performances are frequently cited as examples of how character-driven storytelling can transcend language barriers, which raises an interesting question about whether her appeal is rooted more in her expressive range or in the types of scripts she chooses to engage with. And when examining interviews and public appearances, it becomes clear that she places significant emphasis on authenticity and narrative coherence, suggesting that her selective approach is not merely strategic but also aligned with her artistic priorities. And this alignment may explain why her projects often generate renewed interest in her earlier work, as audiences revisit previous roles with a deeper understanding of her acting style, creating a feedback loop where each new appearance reinforces the value of her existing portfolio. And as the Turkish entertainment industry continues to evolve under the influence of international markets, actors like Sangu find themselves in a position where their choices carry broader implications for how the industry is perceived globally, and this makes her next steps particularly significant, not just for her career but for the ongoing narrative of Turkish television as a whole. So as we wrap up, consider this: in an era where constant output is often rewarded, does Elcin Sangu's restraint represent a more sustainable model for long-term relevance, or is it a risk that depends entirely on the strength of each return?